What is going on, guys? Welcome back to a long overdue video. This video is going to be the monthly review for the month of February. A couple weeks late, but better late than never. So, lessons, insights, and updates from the past month. I turned 30 years young last month. And I have to say that turning 30 set me off into, I don't know, what I consider to be like a period of very deep introspection and a lot of self-reflection, particularly when it comes to evaluating the rest of my life, I would say. It's funny because in this space of self-improvement, entrepreneurship, everyone talks about maximize your 20s, do these things in your 20s to be successful in your 30s, yada yada. And I don't know why, but it just hit me like a fucking brick truck. Like, my 20s are gone. Now I'm in my 30s. Like, those 10 years, it felt like they went by in just a week. And I've been really thinking about that in the sense of, okay, I can't really be wasting time in things and people that aren't conducive to the life that I want to live and the relationships that I want to have, etc. So it's been interesting from that point. A lot of thinking, a lot of reflection, and evaluating the things that are really important in my life. So it's been fun, interesting. I've shared already some of the thought exercises that I've gone through in some of the previous videos, so you can check those out. But yeah, just essentially being more intentional than ever into defining what I want in life. Because like I said, everyone talks, and I know it's a lot playing into the algorithm and what sells, like do this in your 20s, but like that's a whole 10 years that it's gone. And sure, like I believe I gave it my best with what I knew at the time of each stage. But of course, there's always that feeling of I could have done more, or that feeling of if I could go back knowing what I know now, how far would I be when I reach this point? So yeah, a lot of those kind of thoughts are what I've been having. But nonetheless, I'm more excited for what's to come. Excited for what's coming up in the future, looking forward for the next version of Johnny that I'm going to transform myself into. So, what else? Another thing that I've been seriously working on the past few months, but also more so this past month, just continuing to work in developing my, let's say, management skills, delegation skills, everything that revolves around building systems in a business, whether it is through automations or through people, just because understanding that time is the most valuable resource. Of course, everyone or the majority of people work for money, but the objective should be, or I've realized, at least in my case, should be to work for time, for freedom. Of course, you need money to achieve that, but the end goal is time freedom. And again, random thoughts that I keep having. If you think about it, what's besides death? What's the utmost punishment that society gives out to people? Prison. Like, you pay with your time of doing nothing. It's worse than a fine, if you think about it. It's worse than actually having to pay huge amounts of money. Like being thrown in jail, it's like you lost that time forever. Which makes sense because time is the most valuable resource we have. So yeah, a lot of reflection regarding how to make the most out of each day, making them count, and of course, going through as many experiences as possible. And on that note, I know I haven't uploaded the video, I announced it before, but I took a trip to Peru to celebrate my birthday. Went to Machu Picchu with my girlfriend and a friend of mine and his girlfriend. And it was a good time, interesting time. There were some, I don't want to say complications, but issues with poor planning on my part in regards to the weather. I didn't know Cusco was so fucking cold, and I hate the cold. And that part was not enjoyable, but at least the whole experience of seeing something new country, new places, new city, a world wonder, just learning to appreciate those things, those little adventures that, work is always going to be there when you come back. This is me talking to myself, by the way. Work is always going to be there, so it's like, okay, let's go celebrate, do this trip, this adventure, enjoy it with the people that I'm spending that moment with, and taking advantage of it and really, really being present and appreciate it. Of course, this is something that I still have to work on. I'm gonna be completely honest, because it's always like a war of me trying to carve out time from my other responsibilities, things that I have to do or want to do, but we're working on that. What else? Crypto has started to pick up a lot and has also gotten my attention. Of course, if you're smart, you're paying attention into crypto, because the bull run is coming and it's a good time to multiply money if you have money. So I've been brushing up and studying up a lot on that as well, just to prepare for when the actual bull run gets here. And the earlier you are, the better. So that's something also that I've been dedicating to this past month, learning in that regard. Another thing that I spent some time working on was refining my style in terms of like dressing style I'm talking about. And that's something that I've always wanted to distinguish myself in, look good at, but it's something that I've neglected because it's something that I personally know nothing about. So I said, okay, this is another skill that's lagging, an area of my life that I feel I can improve. Let's dedicate time and energy into it to try and learn, improve it. And I see it also as working towards becoming the next version of myself. So that's another thing I've been working on. Let's see, what else? Lots of work. Read some very interesting books lately, particularly in February. I read some great material by a very famous entrepreneur known as Dan Sullivan. I read Who Not How, which talks about the concept of delegation and the concept of how you don't have to be the person who's doing everything all the time. You should approach it from the perspective of looking for the person who can help you solve or achieve that particular goal. And this is something that I found extremely useful, because I've learned in the 18-ish months that I have now trying to, build a business, work on it, that your business will never outgrow. The business will never outgrow the person running the business. So I've put a lot of focus into my self-development, which is exciting because there's still way more levels to conquer, to go through, to achieve, to learn, to progress through. So on that side, I felt reinvigorated, a reinvigorating excitement for everything else that is to learn, right? Just looking forward to continuing to improve my competencies in as many different areas as possible. So that's those books, the Who Not How, that's one, talking about delegation and trusting people, knowing how to empower people. That's something very important that I've placed a lot of focus, at least this past month, and I will in the coming months, just to be able to improve in that regard, essentially just be able to buy back my time and learn how to be a better leader. I think that's the objective of that goal. And then another really good book that I've learned, it's from another entrepreneur called Dan Martell, and his book is titled Buy Back Your Time. And again, it's also focused on buying back your time, essentially how to remove all of the low value tasks that you do on a day-to-day, whether they're personal or business related, and then replace them with the tasks that either bring you fulfillment or bring you more money. And it's something that, just a lot of concepts that I'm already familiar with and I've been exposed to previously, but the way they're presented, or at least in this case, maybe because of the accumulation of experience, it just felt like they clicked a whole lot more than in previous cases. So reading is something I did a lot in the past month. Let's see. Past month really felt like it went by in a flash. I personally don't think it was my most positive month. And when I say that, I mean in terms of my attitude. I definitely could have done that a whole lot better. Could have been a lot more positive and optimistic in a lot of situations that came up, both personal and business. And it's something that I've made note of to keep track, give feedback to myself, and then improve at least this month and the coming months. So that's another focus. Well, that's a focus that I'll be having in this month in particular. The YouTube videos, I put them off for a bit. And this is something that I'm also aware that, I always say that I'm gonna record the fucking videos, and I always, for some reason, that's the video, that's the task or habit that I pick to sacrifice first instead of sacrificing let's say like skipping the gym. But that's also very good insight into what brings me a whole lot more fulfillment, because I do enjoy the videos, but just the pattern of me always, if I had to pick skipping the gym to record a video or going to the gym and not recording a video, I always tend to defer and go to the gym, which is insight for myself to, this is something that if I always make the time or find a way to do this thing, it's probably because I either enjoy it more, like it more, or it brings me more fulfillment. So this ties back into the self-analysis that I've been going through since turning 30, and just also being very mindful of the things that give me energy. When I say things, I mean activities that I perform on a day-to-day basis, or the people that I hang around with. Which one of those give me energy and which ones drain my energy? Very, very useful information that's also discussed in the book, funny enough, in the Buy Back Your Time book. Started reading another book that I've yet to finish, but it's also by Dan Sullivan. It's called 10x is easier than 2x, and it talks about the concept of exponential growth versus linear growth. Basically, so far, that's the premise, and how a lot of people stay in the linear growth because it's inside comfort. It's doing more of what we're already doing instead of completely eliminating everything that we're doing, reshaping our identity, and then focusing on the tasks that will bring us exponential growth. And that talks about focusing on everything that will get us out of our comfort zone and force us to be creative and approach our goals in a way that forces us to develop ourselves. Let's see, what else? It was an interesting month, but it went by so fast. It was more of a maintenance mode month, I feel. It was a balance of busy work versus productive work, and investing into my self-development, which I've done, but it wasn't as, how do I say, as seamless or as easygoing. I really had to put a lot of effort to carve out time for my self-improvement, which is something that I did not particularly enjoy. I was aware that it was happening, but I don't know. I felt pulled in other directions or distracted. So I've started to also invest time again to my life operating system that I run into Notion, making some adjustments, particularly incorporating the lessons that I've learned from recent books about productivity, time management, etc. So that's something that I'm actually looking forward to share on the channel. Let's see what else to focus for next videos. I should actually, an idea just came to mind, just to break it up in lessons and insight learned from the previous month, what goals I set out to achieve on the previous month, did I achieve them or not, and then what I'm going to work towards the next month. I'm going to follow that structure for next videos, next monthly reviews, because these are just unscripted. So what else? Yeah, the hair transplant is actually going great. It's finally a month where it actually looks like something happened and it's actually working, where I'm not stressing because it looks like it's thinning. So that's good. The Invisalign is also going good. Now it's just, a couple months more and just waiting for that to be done with. Let's see. Okay, I'll just share some other random thoughts. So I've been here in Colombia now for about a year and a half, a little over a year and a half, running up on 2 years now. And some thoughts that I've been having recently is just the urge to say fuck it and move somewhere else. I don't know. I'm starting to notice like a pattern in my life, because when I was in Texas 2 years, I wanted to leave. Then 2 years in Florida, I wanted to leave. And now I'm getting close to 2 years in Colombia, and I'm getting like the same feeling. Like I feel like I'm bored. I just want something new, a new start. And I'm still working through that thought process to see if it's actually like a pattern like a pattern that I have, or if it's justified that I just really, there's no more growth to be had here and it's time to move on to the next chapter. I'm in the process of figuring that out. Let's see. Videos. Yeah, I know I always say the same thing. I have a backlog of like 4 videos that I've recorded, because I did actually record the vlogs for my Cartagena trip in January, the Peru trip in February, but I've not had time to edit them and also because I probably won't do as good as a job as I visualize the videos, the end result being. So it's a good opportunity to put into practice what I've been learning from the books and actually find someone who is good editing the video, who enjoys it, and can make something better than I can to live by the principles that I'm learning. So I'm gonna do that. Let's see, what else? Notice a few more subscribers coming into the channel, which is good. Even if it's slow growth, I don't care. I know my channel is not like a specific niche, but I like it because it's like just me figuring it out, just like a journal. I like going through all my shit. Speaking of journaling, I started journaling again, like handwritten journaling, something I used to do when I was living in Florida. And then I stopped doing because I just, outgrew it. But started doing that recently, and I found that it helps with organizing ideas and organizing thoughts when you're going to share an idea with someone. So that's another thing I've been working on. Let's see. Another news. Oh, yes, another important thing. I've started TRT. That's another thing that happened. Well, that happened this month, not February, but it's recent. I'll just bundle it up here. Started TRT, something that I put off for a long time, and I researched many ways to naturally increase testosterone and tried a bunch of different things, but it came to a point where, at least recently, where my lifestyle was just very hectic in regards to late nights. I can't really adhere to a consistent schedule. That's a bad spell, I should not say that. But it was very challenging to stick to a sleeping schedule, because those are things that, I would sacrifice for the sake of the business or my other goals, right? And among other things that I actually tried to, cut alcohol, quit back on certain things that are supposed to help with increasing testosterone, but I found that I took some blood work tests. It was still not as high as I would have liked it to be. Plus, I don't know why, but I fucking turned 30 and I felt like fucking tired, like physically tired. Like I would go to the gym, and when I was sore, it would take me like 5-6 days just to not be sore again. Same with when I was boxing. It was just, I felt like physically I was slowing down, and I did not like that. So it's only been a little over a week. Of course, it's super early, but I've already noticed a slight difference in terms of energy. Like when I say energy, I mean physical fatigue. I used to feel fatigue all the time. Like I would sleep, and even if I track my sleep with my Oura Ring, I would track it and I would see that I was getting, let's say, good quality sleep, like 2 hours, 1 hour and a half plus of deep sleep and REM sleep. And I would still feel fatigued, like tired, like drained, like I didn't rest. And the past few days, I've noticed a difference, and that's the only thing I've really done differently. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward for the coming weeks just to see what other changes I notice. And also looking to, hey, if it helps with time and efficiency, because I get better results in the gym without having to invest so much time, then, whatever. At this point, I decided to just look at it from that perspective and consider what is the best for me. I tried all these options, put it off, and I'll take it as an opportunity also just to be transparent, share my experience with it. I am a firm believer of trying things out, especially on myself first, so that then I can give my experience, my perspective on it. So that was another thing. And now, let's see what else. Oh, started. That might be loud, but another thing that I'm learning just to pick up another hobby, or really just to learn another skill, because I want to learn as much as I can. Started practicing nunchucks. So that's more of, I don't want to say passion project, but it's something that I just want to do because it's not a common hobby. It's not something that people commonly know how to use. And really that's what draws me to it. Just I want to do things. I like doing things that not a lot of people do. So that's why I picked them up. It's fun. Plus, helps to be combat ready. Boxing, nunchucks helps. Let's see. I have a lot of friends that moved to the city recently, which is good. Keeps it exciting. Lots of events, networking events, and participating. And then actually for the longest time, I felt like I never had any friends in the places that I live with, but this has been the place where I've actually had friends. So that's something that I really give a lot of consideration when I have these thoughts of like moving somewhere else. It's like shit, it's like having to start from zero in terms of my social circle. And sure, like most of my current friends or people that I interact with, spend time with, I've met through online means, but now they're physically here. So it's kind of hard to just disregard that. Let's see. Yeah, I think that is all for this month. Yeah, I will implement a new structure for the March review and share also some updates on the system itself on the computer. Other videos ideas, get those vlogs out, keep sharing insights, lessons. Hope everyone is finding value, learning from them. And yeah, that is it. Of course, if anything else comes up, I'll just probably take the opportunity to make a new video about it. As always, thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and I will catch you on the next one.